On we go to Musselburgh. It's the final series final of the first day. We've had 3 so far, and the Sea Pigeon will be the last one. I've twigged it 9-4, 5-1 Scots Poet, the Navigator 13-2 with Can't Stop Now, Russian Virtue 8-1, 17-2. Bar those, here's Gordon.
So I've twigged it, the current favourite. She's a mare owned and bred by Laurie Strangman, and she's one of 2 horses in this race, Chris, that's unbeaten in 3 starts this season.
Yeah, she's going down in the red hood. You can see why that's on. She was a handful in the paddock. And once she gets into her races, she's got all of that exuberance to give, and she's been channeling it the right way this year. 3 from 3. She's obviously up the weights again, and this is a more competitive race than what she's been in. The first 2 wins were off the same lowly handicap mark, but she's only been given another £7 for last time out, where she won very easily. I know this is a better race, but she is quickly going the right way, and just her way of going makes you think that this track is one that'll suit her well.
We've got Rebecca Menzies bidding to win the second final in a row for her, because she won the previous one with Curly Finger, and she's got the other horse that's 3 from 3 over hurdles this season, Russian Virtue, whose mark as a result has gone from 88 to 108.
Yeah, another strong travelling type of horse. He won here on his penultimate start, and he had one of today's rivals in behind him. Goes on any sort of ground. He comes into this on the back of a win on the all-weather at Newcastle on his most recent start, and the horse that he beat there, Keith Dalgleish, came out and won Brigade Boy on that one's next start. So he's now won 5 of his last 6. He's absolutely thriving on a run of 3 on the bounce over hurdles. You've got to give him a chance. The Navigator is extremely easy to... he's a huge drifter, but I thought he caught the eye in a big way at Catterick last time out, and he's been aimed at this race in the past. He won it last year. Yes, he's a good bit higher in the weights than he was then, but he's still lower than for his last win.
Yeah, so there's I think we're almost ready. It looks as if they're about to all come into line. Richard, I think the last race I threw in beautiful sunshine. This time the heavens have opened.
Yeah, you were a bit premature with Spring. We get a shot of the starter. It is very bleak, standing there on his rostrum. Now, I've tweaked it being led in over on the far side, was last to post, and is just away from the others slightly. So I've tweaked it just away from the others and being led forward. A little bit of assistance is on the way. Yeah, there you go. You've got to be pretty devoted there. So I've tweaked it just being led in. Keep an eye on him at the start. He's quite a long way away from the others in terms of width. And isn't showing much inclination to go and join them. So they're off and racing. I've tweaked it as coming in at right angles, but he's going to jump off on terms with the field, who early on are led by Simple Star towards the first. Bebside Banter and also Can't Stop Now as they rise at flight number 1. War Verge was last over it. Also towards the back early on was the grey, the Navigator. As in this squally shower, they head towards the end of the back straight. Simple Star out in the lead in company with Can't Stop Now, who's wide on the racecourse. Black and white stripes of Bebside Banter show in third, just ahead of Patine in the red colours as they make the turn. 5th place belongs to Iolani early on, just ahead of Well Educated, who currently shows in 6th place as they make the bend. Front 2 just pressing on a little bit here as they turn into the straight. Russian Virtue just worse than midfield. Zamond is also in mid-division, in company as well with Scots Poet. War Verge is a long way behind the early stages as Simple Star and Can't Stop Now lead them over flight number 2, which they all take as a rainbow halfway up the home straight. £30,000 pot of gold for this Go North final, named in honour of Sea Pigeon, as they head up the home straight and out in the lead. That's still disputed by Simple Star and Can't Stop Now. Bebside Banter made a mistake in 3rd place. Adam Ryan just had to sit tight there. Behind these we have Patine, Russian Virtue, green colours making a little bit of ground, then Scots Poet. Iolani is towards the inside. I've twigged it is in midfield, white colours with the white sheepskin noseband, gold cap on the outside of Cuban Cigar and Zamond. And still War Verge is well behind the others. The Navigator towards the back of the pack in company with Jack Hammer. So framed by a full rainbow in the backdrop, they make their way past the stands with Simple Star now leading by 4 lengths in the Monteith colours, leading from Can't Stop Now in second. Third goes Iolani up the inside of Bebside Banter, then Patine. They're being followed by Scots Poet in white and blue. Russian Virtue races in midfield just ahead of Zamond. Cuban Cigar comes next. I've Twigged It still quite well back with Well Educated, the Navigator. And behind these, Jack Hammer. And War Verge has slightly closed, about 5 lengths behind the other runners now as they turn into the back straight. Simple Star is going to rise a good 8 to 10 lengths clear over the first flight of hurdles in the back straight and continues on, leading by a big way now. It's about 8 to 10 lengths and continuing to press on with purpose. Can't Stop Now, Iolani, Russian Virtue. Patine is under pressure and has been passed by Scots Poet. I've Twigged It is making ground in that chasing group as the leader makes a little bit of a mistake over that flight. Then Cuban Cigar and Zamond. Warver just picking up a few of the real stragglers as they make their way towards the exit to the back straight. Bebside Banter's one that's lost an awful lot of ground. As out in the lead, Simple Star's not so far clear now. Can't Stop Now and Russian Virtue have made ground in company with Scots Poet. I've Twigged It's now being ridden along to try and improve and still has work to do. Cuban Cigar makes ground. Zaman towards the inside, then Iolani. As still out in the lead, Simple Star turns at the far end. Simple Star is on the home bend and still has the advantage of round about 4 to 5 lengths. Making the bend towards the third last. Russian Virtue moves through into second place. Cuban Cigar is in that chasing group in company with Scots Poet and Can't Stop Now. Zaman comes next and then Iolani as they race towards the third last. Simple Star with Cuban Cigar and Scots Poet closing. Russian Virtue comes next. Zaman has moved through into 5th place. Then Can't Stop Now as jumping on at the third last. Scots Poet and Cuban Cigar are pressing on. They head down towards the second last with Russian Virtue. Zaman, Simple Star can give no more. 2 from the finish. Scots Poet on the left, Cuban Cigar on the right. They will arrive at the second last together. Neither took it well. Zaman in third, then Russian Virtue. Iolani from the back. Jack Hammer stays on down towards the last. On the right hand side, it's Cuban Cigar and Patrick Wadge. Inside, Scots Poet and Craig Nichols. Zaman is back in third. The last in the Sea Pigeon Go North final. A horrendous mistake by Scots Poet. Took it by the roots. Cuban Cigar is out in the lead, but now Zamond is the one who's giving chase. They're weary. Cuban Cigar has the lead by 3 lengths. Zamond is digging in for Brian Hughes. 3 lengths to find. Then Scots Poet all out. Cuban Cigar. Zamond continuing to close as they head towards the line, but will not get there. Cuban Cigar, big day for Patrick Wadge. Lucinda Russell a pat down the neck. In second, Zaman. Scots Poet gave it away with 2 blunders, particularly at the last. Then Russian Virtue, Iolani and Jack Hammer.
An eventful race that, wasn't it? And it's the Jerry McGladrey colours that are carried to victory by Patrick Wadge. He's a young lad really on an awkward curve, riding here for his boss Lucinda Russell. A double in the day for Patrick. Zamon's run really well and finished strongly for second. Scots Poet made a hash of the second last and a real blunder at the final flight in third place with Russian Virtue. His winning run comes to an end, back in 4th place.
Yeah, but Cuban Cigar, another one for informed Lucinda Russell in recent times. First winner on the afternoon for the yard, but a second one for the young rider who continues to impress, and he's looking very good value for his claim. Scots Poet even. A winner last time out, tyres late on, but you've got to think that without some terrible mistakes at the straight, there wasn't just one of them, the last one was the worst one, but would have gone reasonably close, because given how badly he blundered the last, he's not been beaten that far.
It's a race that was running a bit of a rainstorm as well, complete with some shafts of sunlight creating a rainbow. And